Yeah, no, we've been in here before.
Why this is
All right, I'm going to call the meeting to order. This is the June 1st, 2021 meeting of the South Windsor Water Pollution Control Authority. Our first order of business is to call the roll.
okay.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Tom Ruby,
Present.
Eric Dabrowski, Carol Fletterick, Stephen King Jr.,
Here.
Toby Lewis,
Present.
Ash Narayana, Stephen Wagner, Sean Jacobaccio,
Present.
Vicky Paliulis.
Present.
Thank you.
The roll being called, I recognize that there is a quorum. We'll move on to our first order of business, the acceptance of minutes of the previous meeting, May 4th, 2021. I trust all the members have had an opportunity to review the minutes. Is there a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second by Sean. Motion by Toby, second by Sean. Any discussion, additions, corrections? Toby?
Yeah, we keep reading Ash off in the minutes. He's given his letter of resignation. He's not part of this commission anymore, and he shouldn't be on the roll call.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand a word of that.
We remove these things?
Apparently not. Yeah,
All right.
we'd be breaking a rule.
Ash is on the roll call. Ash.
Ash was on the roll call, that's correct.
Right. He resigned a year ago.
He has not resigned.
In writing, he did.
He has to resign from the council. He has to notify the council of a resignation. He remains on until such time that he informs the council that he's off. And he's been advised of that.
Yes,
So technically, he remains a member.
he informed the RTC in writing, and the RTC is, all right, it's going to be hard to replace him, but we still have him on there.
Okay.
Yeah, once our office receives notification that he's been removed or replaced, then we'll update the list. But that has to come through town council.
Okay.
Okay, I just,
And just to go to a quick point of order here, we're on the approval of the minutes.
okay.
So, motion, second. Any additions or corrections to the minutes? No? All those in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, the minutes as submitted are approved. Now I'll move on in between the agenda items to address Toby's point. Do you have any further comment on that?
No, but I think Jan did.
Okay, Councilwoman Snyder.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I believe it was accepted by the town council. Thank you. I believe that we processed that last November or September, but I can certainly, no, it hasn't been?
Yeah, we haven't been notified of that yet.
Okay,
I did receive his email.
Maybe I can check with the clerk of the council and have her check, and if it is, then
If you
we
would
can
be
get
good
that right
enough to
over
check
to
with the
you.
clerk of the council, and if there's a notification, just let us know so we remove them from the roll.
Okay, I can let Heather know, I think.
It will be listed as a vacancy and filled through normal procedure.
Also, P and Z met here last week for the first meeting, first live meeting, and they did in fact take their masks off when they were seated behind the plexiglass to speak and participate, so there was no problem with that at that time, but as soon as you get up or move around, you've got to put the mask on.
Okay,
Okay,
Just to help, because you can't hear anything with the mask on. Thank you.
thank you.
thank you.
A consensus of the body, do you want to keep the masks on at your option or remove them? Okay,
I'm
masks off.
vaccinated.
I think they need to be on until we're speaking. That was my understanding.
Okay. Back to our agenda.
Said only when you're speaking.
Element C, new business. The fiscal year 21-22 budget, sewer user fees and qualified income discount. We have had a public hearing on this. There has been no comment from the public that I am aware of. Does that remain true, Mr. Manfrey?
Correct. No comment.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the budget?
I would like to make a motion to adopt the fiscal year of 2021, 2022 operating budget, sewer user fees or qualified income discount program as presented.
Second.
Is there a second?
Mr.
Second by Sean. Motion by Toby. You have that? Okay. Any discussion on any of those matters? There being none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of approving the budget, sewer user fees and qualified income discount, signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. The budget is approved. And I'll note that the budget is approved without an increase in the sewer user rate for our residents. Thank you, Mr. Manfrey. You did a good job putting the budget together.
Welcome. Thank you.
Okay, we're on to item C2, an appeal hearing that I understand is going to be continued or withdrawn.
Yes, this is going to be continued until September. Unfortunately, the appellant had an accident over the weekend and is unable to attend tonight. So if he does decide to withdraw, I'll need that written notification. But as for now, I haven't received any communication from him in either direction, so I'm going to recommend continuing until September, until I receive further notification.
Okay, so we are going to go by item C2. That may appear on our September agenda.
Correct.
Or if it's withdrawn, it will be in writing, right?
Right.
The
If it's
withdrawal.
withdrawn, I'll provide a letter.
Okay. We are on to item C3, 40 Commerce Road, Manchester, Connecticut, Scott Transportation, approval to connect. We have a presentation.
This connection, while Daniel sets up, this connection's a little bit different. The property is located in Manchester on the South Windsor line. The flow goes into a Manchester pipe, which eventually flows to the South Windsor treatment plant. And that's why Daniel is here this evening to present the project to us. We do have an intertown municipal agreement for connections such as this. So South Windsor has the right to collect the benefit assessment and any connection charges that go along with that, just so everybody's aware. And also, the property will be billed as a Manchester property, so they provide a list to us of all their connections that go into South Windsor, and then we bill the town of Manchester.
Okay. And we have a presenter.
There's
Is your mic on?
last one on the bottom.
It
Yes,
is.
Mr. Ruby.
Okay.
And for the record, my name is Daniel Jameson. I'm a professional engineer in the state of Connecticut and project manager at Design Professionals. And thank you, Mr. Manfrey, for explaining all of that stuff about our interconnection. But just to get along for the presentation, I'm here on behalf of Scott's Transportation. They are a long-hauling trucking company with the SIC code 4111 for local and urban transit. As Tony was alluding to, the property is located on 40 Commerce Road in Manchester, CT. The site ultimately flows to a sanitary line in Batson Drive, which is the connecting intersection of Commerce Road there, which then ultimately conveys flow to the sanitary man in Chapel Road. The proposed building is an 11,320 square foot building with parking and associated other improvements to the site. The anticipated flow from this building is 1,132 gallons per day. And the basic use of the building will be for dispatch and accounting of this trunking services operation. They are proposing space for maintenance and repair of their long-haul car trailers. They basically are transportation of the big car trailers that you see with multiple sedans or SUVs parked on them. But they just want to be able to do small maintenance and repair of these long-haul trailers. And with that, we are proposing a floor drain in the back of the addition, or back of the building there, that will drain to a 1,000-gallon oil grit separator. And just to want to clarify, no heavy-duty service repairs will happen at any time on the site. They're not going to be doing oil changes and engine work and stuff like that. This is just for fabrication repairs of their hauling trucks after if anything gets kinked or something as they're driving along the roads doing their transportation services. So that's what the application presented in front of you today is about, and yeah, open to any questions.
Okay. Any questions? Sean?
Gotcha. Okay. Yes, Mr. Sean.
Thank you, Mr. Jamison, for that information. I have a quick question. Is there going to be any truck or vehicle cleaning in that facility?
So they may be washing cars, like after they come back in from their trip, but that's what that floor drain is for, and the oil grit separator to collect all of those oils and grease that may come off of that operation. But it's not like a big car wash operation. It's just for their vehicle maintenance as they need it.
Mainly maintenance. So it's not a matter of standard operations to wash the vehicles every time they come through.
No, I'm sure they're not washing them every day, but as the condition presents itself, I mean, if they have a dirty site that they're driving to frequently, maybe more washes in a week, but they're not. They don't have to wash the vehicles every single day. It's just as needed.
Thank you.
No problem, Mr. Sean.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I have one.
Hang on, I got Vicky's first.
Oh, you can
Go
go
ahead,
first. You go first. Go ahead.
Oh,
As a
Okay.
follow-up, when it is washed, are the chemicals being used in the washing? What's involved in the washing? Particular kind of soap, a brand?
I'm sure it's just standard automobile washing soap. They're not hauling anything hazardous. They're just hauling sedans and SUVs, probably going between dealerships. So it's just the maintenance that they need to maintain their trailers. They have 17 of those big trailers, so that's what they.
Are these new vehicles? Because I know new vehicles when they come over in the ship, they're covered with cosmoline.
Oh, are the new vehicles being transported?
Right.
I'm sure there's a mix of new and used, but
I mean, it'd be fair to know what's going to be going into our system, although it may be slight, it's chemicals just the same.
yes. The owner has stated that they don't plan on doing any heavy-duty maintenance and repairs, so it is only for washing purposes. I definitely understand the concern, but it is just for, if any oils and greases do come off in the event while they're washing, that's what the oil grit separator is for. It'll collect all those oils and greases and prevent them from being transmitted on to the sanitary main and Batson Drive. So
Okay,
they
thank
are
you.
doing their best effort to stop those oils and greases, but they aren't a big, car garage where they're going to be having multiple cars coming in, the hood open all the time, and washing all this stuff down there. It's just for their maintenance and just to have their trailers looking presentable as they drive down the road. So,
Thank you.
no problem, sir.
Okay, thank you, Toby. Vicky?
Yes, hi. Just did a quick little look at stormwater general permitting.
Yes.
What's your timeline for that? You are required under Appendix A of the stormwater general permit for industrial activity, the state of Connecticut?
Yes, we may trip the threshold for a deep stormwater permit, and if need be, we'll go through that process at that time.
Yeah,
We
but
are
we-
a 4-acre site, so,
Yeah, unfortunately, you can't proceed without that permit. You know that, right?
can you repeat
You
that?
can't, you cannot proceed without a general permit under the state of Connecticut regulations for
Yep.
Clean Water Act.
No construction can be conducted.
Okay, so part of that requirements would be to have a date on when you expect to have that, or at least at minimum, the no exposure certification, whichever you are required under.
Okay. And you know what? I do apologize for that, Miss Vicky. The site is only 4 acres big, so the minimum requirement for submission of an online deep application is 5 acres. So we will not need to submit a deep application online because we can't just, even if we disturb the whole site, we wouldn't trip the threshold. So.
Okay. Also, for a SPCC regulations under the, what is your timeline for that?
Can you repeat that
Spill
again?
prevention, control, and countermeasures plan in regards, you must have some sort of level of oil on site. Do you know if it's over 1,300 gallons or not? Which would be part of all your, I don't know what you have in regards to your activities, but are you expecting to have oil on the site that exceeds that level of 1,320 gallons?
No, I mean, the use is just for their storing of their trailers, little fabrication maintenance, washing. They're not proposing an oil tank on site to fill up. They're not proposing to be able to fill up their trailer, or the trucks towing the trailers on site. So with that, the only chance of a spill would be during the washing of the trailers and cars inside of the building, and they're not transporting big, massive quantities of hazardous material. So it's just, whatever happens just as just from the washing
Right.
would be
So-
the only.
Thank you for that. Can you explain a little bit more to me on what the applications and the activities of those, of the facility?
Yes, so they have 17 of these long-haul trailers. They're just looking for a place to place their central operation and just maintain their fleet in-house.
So, I'm sorry, is it a storage facility that you have there where they're parked inside? Is that what this is, or?
They have
I'm
parking
unclear.
spaces for the trailers on site.
Right.
There's a bunch of parking spaces provided
Right.
back here.
So what does the interior facility do? I don't understand, I'm afraid I don't understand.
So the interior will be for offices, for their accounting, people doing accounting, and their dispatch, people.
So it'd be like a garage where they come in and you wash the vehicles?
Yes, wash and
Okay.
have the space to do their own repairs, fabrication. repairs,
Fabrication,
If
okay.
anything gets dent or damaged on trips.
Okay, got you, thank you. Thank you for that.
Yes, sir.
Eric?
Is it on? Okay. You had mentioned that there is going to be no oil changes or anything like that, correct?
Yes, they said
Okay.
no heavy-duty maintenance repairs, no engine work and stuff to that
Okay,
effect,
so for Tony, what Vicky was speaking of, that's not within our purview, and since they're not doing oil changes, that has nothing to do with it, correct?
Yeah, they're gonna have an oil water separator for, I mean, my understanding of the project is they're just gonna be washing the vehicles, and that's gonna create obviously grit and sand from the roadways, and also the surfactants from just the washing detergent, and that's what that's gonna capture. I
But
think,
since there will be no oil changes, no stored oil on the site, the part that Vicky just spoke of doesn't apply, correct? And it's not within our purview as a WPCA to go after that particular regulation, correct?
no, I don't believe so. I think,
Because from my understanding,
We-
they're gonna be washing their trailers if it gets beat up, so if you have a transport trailer, it gets hit on the road, they're gonna bang out the dent, and they're just gonna
So
keep their
for-
fleet on the road, they're not gonna be tearing the engines apart, not gonna be changing oil. I imagine they're gonna have a contract with some company that's gonna take and actually service the vehicles off-site in a different place.
yes, they will be serviced off-site.
there will need to be a spill prevention plan if they do have chemicals on site and floor drains that go into the sewer line. So is that what you were speaking to? Yeah, sorry.
I was referring mostly to the spill prevention, control, and countermeasures plan in regards to those contingency requirements under that regulation.
Okay.
Any other questions? Comments? Everybody good? Toby, you have something?
Well, I'd just like to make a motion to approve the connection of 40 Commerce Road in Manchester, which is subject to the following conditions. 1, technical approval by the town of Manchester. 2, the sewer line is installed in substantial conformance with the design plans. 3, project as-built are provided to the South Windsor Engineering Department. 4, payment of the following charges will be due at the time of connection, the rates for which will be in effect until June 30th, 2021. Connection charge in the amount of $16,313.04 for 4,061 buildable acres. B.
4.0.
Huh?
4.0.
Yeah, 4.0, yeah, all right, yes. 4.061 buildable acres, 4,000, that'd be a lot. B, capacity change in the amount determined by the size and quantity of water meters. And C, benefit of lateral assessment for a minimum zone frontage of 100 feet and 1 lateral in the amount of $9,655.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion?
I do. And can we put in a requirement too that, in regards to the stormwater pollution prevention plan requirements under the Clean Water Act, that they are truly within those requirements with the 5 acreage issue? I just wanted to make sure we're decent on that, if that can be a component of the acceptance.
It can be offered as an amendment.
Yes.
I would second that amendment.
Okay, before we go there, did you get that down?
Can you, oh, I'm sorry, was that not loud enough?
Why don't you repeat it
Can be restated for the-
others' benefit?
Oh, okay, so, I'm sorry. So, that one of the requirements is that they are not required to abide by the stormwater pollution prevention requirements under the Clean Water Act for the state of Connecticut.
Can I offer a point of clarification?
Yeah, you're good? Okay, back to you.
So I'm sorry, Ms. Vicky.
Yes.
We have to abide by it. We just don't have to submit the deep easy file application
Right.
online. So we are, all of our ENS guidelines do hold up to the 2002 Connecticut erosion control guidelines and the
Right.
the Connecticut water quality manual recommendations. But we just don't have to formally submit to deep because
Gotcha.
it's not big enough. That's why. But we are
Right.
considering water quality and all that stuff as well.
Which means that you would that you would qualify under this last amendment, that you would pass that. I just want to make sure that we are in accordance to those regulations, that's all.
10-4, understood.
Okay.
So we have to vote on the amendment first. Any further discussion on the amendment? There being none, I'll call for a vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? The amendment carries. We now will move to the motion as amended. Any further discussion on the motion? There being none, ask for a vote. All those in favor of approval?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Okay, thank you. We've completed the item for Scott Transportation.
Thank you, Mr. Rudy.
And we move on to item C4, a approval to connect for 742 Ellington Road Educational Play Care Center. And I believe you're back before us to present that also.
Yep. Oh, okay, yeah. Hello, all right. Okay. You ready again? All righty, members of the commission. Just again for the record, my name is Daniel Jameson, professional engineer, state of Connecticut, and project manager for Design Professionals. Here on behalf of Educational Play Care, one of the region's most dominant early childhood developments or childhood education providers. The site is located at 742 Ellington Road. They are proposing the construction of a 16,000 square foot daycare center with other site improvements. The SIC code for the daycare center is 8351. The building will be constructed to allow for a maximum of 270 pupils with an anticipated flow of 2,700 gallons per day. Effluent from the site will travel down Ellington Road to Pleasant Valley Road. We received comments from Tony, one relating to signs being posted in the bathroom, just discouraging the flushing of disposable wipes. Our client has no problem adding these signs to the bathroom. And yeah, we're happy to show these signs in our final plans as a condition of approval if seen fit today. So.
Make sure your microphones are on, please. Oh, can you turn your mic on? Sorry.
Motion to approve the connection of 742 Ellington Road, subject to the following conditions. 1, technical approval of the engineering department. 2, the sewer line is installed in substantial conformance with the design plans. 3, provide signage deterring and flushing of baby wipes in each bathroom. 4, payment of the following charges will be due in the time of connection. The rates will be in effect until June 30th, 2021. A, connection charge in the amount of $11,247.60 for 2.8 buildable acres. B, capacity charge in the amount of $5,550 for 1-to-1 water meter equivalent to 2 EDUs. If the size or quantity of the water meter changes, the capacity charge will be recalculated. And C, benefit of the lateral assessment for a minimum zone frontage of 150 feet by one lateral in the amount of $13,855.
Second.
Okay, second by Eric. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion, you signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Commissioners. Appreciate your time.
We are moving on to item D, communications and reports, the superintendent's report. Mr. Manfree.
Thank you. So this past month, we celebrated Public Works Week. That was a success. Each division within the Public Works Department created a short video just outlining what they do and gave a nice presentation to the PRS second graders. And then there was a question and answer session after that. So that was kind of cool. We just had to make it virtual this year. We typically will do a tour of each facility with the second graders. But this year we had to get a little more creative again. And we also did a GoFundMe and raised over $900 for the South Windsor Food Pantry. So that was a good success. We were really happy with that. Legislative bills that we've been keeping an eye on that are starting to have some effect on municipalities is Senate Bill 941, imposes restrictions on the collection of sewer liens. We're not anticipating this to affect South Windsor since we don't use the lien assignment as a tool for collecting delinquent user fees and assessments. The second bill that we've been paying attention to is Senate Bill 968, which imposes restrictions on assigning liens for delinquent sewer benefit assessments and sewer use charges. The original bill was presented with delinquencies beyond $10,000. That was reduced down to $4,000, and it recently went through the Senate, and it's now in the House, and it's been amended again for reduced to anyone that's $4,000 delinquent or 4 years. So we're still continuing to watch that. The Connecticut Water Environmental Association has a lobbyist as a retainer, and she's paid to keep an eye on these bills and bring these to the association's attention. So that's how we've been working through these. As far as the electrical utilities, we're switching 3 of the pump stations to time of day. We're anticipating a cost savings there. So we're doing Clark, Rye Street, and Benedict Drive. Treatment plant and collections. We continue to have effectively treat the water and complete preventative maintenance tasks. Capital improvement projects for the pump stations, our case is continuing to work on the 30% design of the project. And the Chapel Road relining project, that has been completed. And we've given them a certificate of substantial completion and reduced their retainage from 5% to 2%. And we're going to hold the 2% for 12 months. Collector of Revenue had a really good report this month we were really happy with. The residential collection is at 98.25%. And last year at this time it was at 97.71%. And on the commercial side, we're at a 93.37% collection rate. And this time last year we were at 81.32%. Today, her office sent out 44 delinquent demands for commercial accounts. Those were sent out today. And the outstanding residential sewer balance has been reduced to $157,031. So that concludes my report.
Any questions for Tony on any aspects of his report?
I have one question, Tony. You mentioned cost savings. Traditionally, or do you have a specific plan in mind what to do with the monies that are savings? Do they go somewhere? Are they saved for something? Are they put in the overall budget, or what happens to those savings?
So any savings that we realize will be put into the reserve accounts. So any extra money at the end of the year goes into the replacement reserve account. And that goes for any additional revenue that we collect. So any money left over at the end of the year goes in to build up the reserve accounts.
Is that the right place for it to be?
Is
that the right place for it to go? I mean, we could.
by
I don't know if it's any significant amount or not, but I also would think that at some point we're going to get some savings that should amount to something. I think we should plan something to use that money for a productive purpose other than just in the reserve.
if I may, by regulation, any funds that arrive on the revenue side that are unexpected go into the replacement reserve.
Okay, thank you.
And any allocation from the replacement reserve has to go past the authority members
Right,
for approval.
all right,
Okay?
all right. Thank you.
Any other questions? No?
I want the golf tournament.
Well, one, relative to the efforts of the Collector of Revenue, would you please give her our thanks for her efforts, because this is substantially more active in terms of collecting on delinquent accounts than we've experienced in the last several months before we made the change to have her take over that function. And her efforts are appreciated. Secondly, regarding this pending Senate bills, the first one has already passed, is my understanding. It's been enacted, or it's through the legislature. I don't know if the governor has signed it. The second is pending on the House calendar, having been passed by the Senate.
Correct.
Is that accurate? And we don't know if that's going to pass or not.
No, we're not, yeah, we don't have any information on that.
Okay, and again, my understanding is any delinquencies as the bill currently stands must exceed $4,000 before there could be a foreclosure action,
Or 4 years, correct.
or
4 years.
4 years?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know off the top of your head how many accounts we have that are over $4,000 or?
So we have 5 commercial accounts with delinquencies over $4,000, and we have 6 residential. That doesn't sound. Okay, yeah, so it's 5 commercial and 6 residential that are over $4,000.
Okay. and efforts are being made to collect on those delinquent accounts?
That's correct. She's been holding tax sales. She couldn't last year because of the pandemic, but she is planning to have another one this year.
Are there any properties in the community that are headed towards a tax sale because of delinquencies?
Yes, any delinquent properties will be going to tax sale for,
Okay, do they go to tax sale simply based on a delinquency of this water pollution control bill, the sewer use bill, or are they also delinquent in property tax?
it's property tax and sewer use.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions on the superintendent's report? Okay, that being completed, thank you, Mr. Manfree. We move on to the next item of business, which is an interim report on the miscellaneous users permit. And I will turn this over to Vicki and Carol and Tony to bring us up to speed on where we are with this new requirement from our colleagues at the State Department of Environmental Energy and Environmental Protection.
So our subcommittee has met 2 times now, and we also had a meeting with a DEP official. Vicki and I met with him, just for some clarification on certain items. So our meetings have been productive. We're moving along. We're working right now on project projection for the MIU and when we're going to present a draft policy to the WPCA. Right now our tentative schedule is for July and August. We're going to prepare a breakdown of the MIU general permit, just kind of a Cliff Notes version, to help our the commercial community. We're also going to assess a fee schedule, and for September, we're going to have a draft MIU policy, which is going to include language from the DEP MIU. It's going to include our town requirements, which differ in some constituents than what DEP has used for or uses. We're also going to be looking at site inspection protocols and due dates for permit fees. So for October, we're planning to present a draft MIU to the WPCA, and we'll take that feedback and try to finalize it for the November, December timeframe. So that's kind of where we sit at this moment.
Does anyone have any questions for Tony regarding this new procedure? No, we're good. Well, that concludes that element. There being no other item to adjourn.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second for that motion, please? Second. There was a race. I think Stephen won that one, Eric. Motion by Toby, second by Stephen King. All those in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion is carried. The meeting is adjourned.